He's been a delight. He very first part. He convinced Remington Roar to beat up a refrigerator, full sized, and not only that, he had wonderful second match musical chairs for PW. Even had a great showing at the Rattlocke Horror Wrestling Show in a trios match, pulling off having his very first death match this year and death match tournament. So, without any further ado, I'd like to bring into here Justin Gray. Justin?
How are you? Sorry about the microphone situation. Headphones wouldn't connect. How are you?
No worries at all. God, speaking of massive, look how bigger you are than me. I feel tiny. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well.
There we go. Oh, I'm doing the best I can.
I'll just lean forward there. Hi, how are you? Yes.
Doing good.
Looking splendid. You seem pretty happy and awake. It's terrible.
I'm a
John.
secret. That's why I'm happy all the time.
I get that. Nursery, hello. We just started talking with massive legend Justin Gray. Justin, for anybody that hasn't conversed with you before or even discovered you yet, I need you to let them know just a quick, under 90 words or less, bio about you, getting into the business and everything like that.
Born in New York City, raised in Kansas. I am the massive legend, the horror hero, the valor villain. I am the power metal Van Helsing, here to kill all your monsters.
Yes, I've actually used you a couple times for that, so I'm very thrilled. Also, if any of you in the peanut gallery or any of my test subjects out there in the comment section would have a question for Justin Gray, go ahead and throw it out there so we can get to some more conversing. Wrestling referee thinks that he thinks you might be a distant cousin, which is arguable.
Hey, never know.
Now, yeah, we got Justin Gray and John Gray. But no, what was it that took place in your life to where you had that spark take place that made you go, I'm going to be a professional wrestler?
When I was younger, I always just loved the business. I was born watching it. My dad stopped watching in the early 2000s when the whole Steve Austin Screwjob thing happened at WrestleMania. And I just continued to love it. And I love telling this story because he hates it. But he always told me I was never going to be a pro wrestler. I was too small. It would never work. And that drove me up the fucking wall. So I just became a wrestler, followed my dream, and here we are. Super kicking all sorts of fools.
Awesome. Now, when you first got in, yes.
So I'm calling out. Control your narrative. CYN. I super kick motherfuckers all the time.
See, and that's what you do. You keep calling out CYN, and eventually you get recontracted to WWE. Anyway,
I'm on cards with those dudes. Like every fucking month, I'm on a card with at least one CYN dude. Every time.
Dude, talk to them for me. You know? But no, so where exactly did you get your training at?
The training came from Christian Temple, who is my tag team partner, and Chris Vale, who was one of the only people who got to go to the Wrestle One dojo, and I believe it was 2020. It was he, the Pillars of Destiny, I'm spacing on a whole bunch of them, but it was a small class, one class of about 20 people who got to go out to Japan to wrestle in the Wrestle One dojo, which is ran in conjunction with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's where all my striking came from, and then all of my technical and actual move-related stuff came from Christian Temple, who was trained by one of the single worst human beings on the planet. Great trainer, though. Dude's name is Lance Chafin. Dude sucks. But I also...
Great trainer.
dude's fucking trash. Everybody thinks so. But I also got a little bit of on-site training from Billy Simmons out in Canada. I take up some training every once in a while from people like Drake Gallows from down in Oklahoma. He's taught me a whole bunch of stuff. Shane Sanders, the blue-collar brawler out of Kansas, another guy. So I pick up spot stuff where I can, but the two base people were Christian Temple and Chris Bell.
Alrighty. Real quick, Skull and Mortar. I know about that square. I was trying to add on a dice game extension, and all that happens is that square comes up. You should be able to touch it and move it, because that's what I did. So anyway, going into training and whatnot. Oh, hello, Master Hooks. Everybody say hi to Master Hooks. Or hi, as in. Alrighty. Now, okay, so into the wrestling first match. How are your jitters during the first match? Like how, like we got butterflies going, weak knees, cold feet, anything like that?
First ever match, which would have been, Jesus, like 9 years ago. I was nervous because I thought I was gonna fuck stuff up, but it was like a completely pat down match, so stuff went well. But every single time I have a match, I've got jitters. It's one of those things that I believe in my heart that if you go out there and you don't have butterflies in your stomach, or you don't have the jitters, you don't have that nervousness, you don't fucking want it enough.
Yeah. Now, when you did start training, did you have any moments were you like the hungry guy that was trying to learn a lot of stuff too soon, or were you just one of those, I will sit here and wait for them to tell me what I'm ready to learn?
Oh, I wanted to learn stuff. The funny thing is, the first thing that I tried to like learn and was like pushing to learn was a split-legged moonsault, and I fucked that one up a whole bunch. But I was doing stuff like that. Like the first thing outside of your basic 6 holds, striking, and then like your basic power slams and stuff was a second to third rope transition arm drag. So I was doing stuff like that right away because I was trying to push for a more Italian lucha style. So I wanted to like take a lot of like the stuff that like I watched a lot of like the influential Italian wrestlers, Italian as fuck, Bruno Sammartino, guys like that, and I wanted to take that, but I wanted to make it lucha because Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, Jushin Thunder Liger, like the guys that were doing that more fast-paced WCW cruiserweight style were my fucking bread and butter.
Yes, you had, like I said, you had an amazing match at the Rattlocke Horror Wrestling show in that trios match. Matter of fact, I even had, I believe, Fabu Andre towards the end of the show had said, "Look," he goes, "I was kind of uncertain because I didn't know much about these guys going in." He goes, "And from now on," he goes, "if you ever need me to team up with anybody," he goes, because it was you and Juniper tagging with, Team Fabulous, and I just saw that, and I'm a scientist, and I also experience with chemistry, and I put you guys together thinking you guys could be a very cohesive union. It was either that or we're going to call you guys Caution Flamboyant. But still, you guys, everybody loved you guys, and Fabu said, "I am more than ready to be these people's teammates at the drop of a hat whenever." Now, you are a bit of, well, I was getting ready to say Teamster, but we're not, but I mean, you are Italian. But so, I mean, Irish and Italian. We're getting into mob ties now. But you are somewhat of a team player, because you also have the Rebel Hearts, and I believe you also, just because I'm going to be also mentioning this other person a lot, because you guys are practically brothers, as Remington Roar. I believe you guys had
Death and Glory. You got
yeah.
the tag team Death and Glory.
Yes, so I mean, it's amazing now, and see, that's the one thing is I've seen you do not only singles, but I've seen you in trios and I've seen you in tag team, and it's usually difficult to see wrestlers, even 5-6 years in, to be founded in not just singles, or you'll see people that are a good tag team wrestler, but very poor at doing singles. But you seem very well rounded in all of those styles of matches, and I argue that you are a very universal wrestler. And do you sometimes find it hard to transition from, being a tag team wrestler, having even winning multiple tag team championships, and then going to singles?
The harder jump is, I think, going from a singles to a tag team mindset. So every once in a blue moon, I'll have the straight singles match. I'm basically a tag team guy for the most part, but there's certain companies, they'll run me singles. And anytime I work a singles match, it's always something crazy like a death match or Ballroom Blitz, which was a watered down version of a death match, or like just wacky, crazy stuff. And then I have to go back to basic tagging. So it's always like a little challenging to get myself back into that. I have to fight from the mat too kind of feeling.
Yes.
But for the most part, it's a good transition. The hardest thing, I think, is trying to just do trios in general, because of just how they got to go. And like when people get slowed down, it turns into a fight for survival kind of thing. But the transitions, it's rough at times, but I can manage it normally.
And I got Master Hooks here. He said, you're like the Mokujin of pro wrestling. So I need to do a little bit more research, because I'm like, what's a Mokujin?
I think that's a Tekken reference, right? Mokujin would have been one of the characters from Tekken 3.
Oh my God, I haven't played Tekken in like probably 15 years. But that's all
right. I got the logo where I'm Akuma looking over my shoulder. So fighting games are my specialty.
Yes, I love that one. Also, real quick, so this year you actually got to dip your foot a couple times into the world of deathmatch, which honestly I was salivating trying to get you to have your first death match with me, but you guys had it, and not only was it your first death match, it was, I believe, the first death match in that area.
It was,
correct?
If I remember correctly, first one in Kansas.
Yes,
the first full-on one in Kansas.
And it was against your brother, It was you and Remington Roar in the first ever, at least documented, death match in Kansas. What was that like, breaking ground like that?
So I wasn't even booked on that show. And it was really tragic for me because I lived 2 blocks down the road. Stage Sid Supreme, she had her flight canceled. Something happened.
Oh,
so somebody had to step in. So I took over for Miss Lord Supreme, which was an honor to be able to do. And I got to jump into the main event to take on literally a person that I'm going to be entwined with, I believe, for the rest of my breathing days. I feel like Remington Roar and I have
all that.
He and I have such a weird entwined style where no matter where one of us is at one given time, it's kind of like the Soul Calibur and the Soul Edge and that fighting franchise series. We're opposites.
Yes.
But we do the exact same things and have the exact same goals. And by God, I just want to keep bleeding with that man.
And see, that one of the things that I like is, as a wrestler and as a promoter. Now, when I first started wrestling, I actually got sick of watching wrestling because it was to the point where I couldn't watch WWE or WCW because I'm sitting there calling spots. Okay, here comes Elementary, and they're going to do. And I'm just like, here it is, drop kick, and I'm calling it 30 seconds before they do it. And but I mean, recently, a lot of unorthodox styles have been coming around to where everything looks fresh. And I will say, I was there. YouTube on the television, big screen, watching that match, and I probably popped 4 times. I was just really enveloped in your guys' match, not just, because, we went through that brief period where death match was just people swinging weapons and that was it, and then actual wrestling came back into it. Storytelling came back into it. It became more than just 2 guys swinging weapons on each other, and you guys told an excellent story that night. And it was an amazing watch. I got to talk to Remington about it the next day. I fudged the time, and you were still asleep, so I was like, oh man. But I talked to him about it, and he talked about how much of a blast it was, and to know that you guys broke that that ceiling. You went through that glass ceiling. No death matches recorded before in Kansas, and boom, you guys have one. Not only that, you were also, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you were in a tournament, deathmatch tournament this year as well.
I filled in for Rude Boy at ADT and got to fight another person that I've been sort of intertwined with without ever getting to make contact with, in Aiden Blackheart, and it was one of the single most special moments of my life. Not even my wrestling career, but my entire life. When I was small, when I was younger, I would watch people like Pondo, and I would watch CZW. Trent Acid was literally somebody who enveloped my cerebral cortex, and I completely spaced on him until recently. But there's just those guys that I would always watch, and to be able to not only do a death match in front of just a bunch of raving, wonderful fans, but to get to do a death match tournament with people like Necro Butcher was just so much. And it was beautiful and wonderful and devastating and fucking terrible, and god damn it, I loved it. It was so much.
You did an excellent job with that too. I did. I watched it, and you did an incredible job for that. And like I said, you are a very universal wrestler. I mean, you were one of the people that I personally approached. Being a scientist, I like to experiment. And when it came to doing another, because I said I want to test a second of musical chairs, and I just approached you. I was like, do you think you can pull this off? And you did tremendous. It was unfortunate that the people that were supposed to be filming it didn't realize they were supposed to be filming it. We caught the tail end where you made your opponent vomit. So there you go. You did an amazing job with that. You like I said, almost every time I've been watching your matches, they've just been incredible. You are climbing that ladder. And you even got some acting chops in. We're getting ready to finally release my first episode of Horrendously Horrible Horror. I've already have a Christmas and a Halloween special out, in which I'm having you track down a specific beast, and it's finally coming to fruition. But not only that, when ZPW comes back, fingers crossed. I don't even want to give a date right now. I was told a date, but I don't want to say it because last time I was told a date and I said it, that didn't happen. And then things happened and stuff happened. And now we're just looking forward to the future because I know that you are a monster hunter and I have a list because I need to experiment and I need some beasts to experiment on. Better to have the monster and bring them in for me. So I have to call upon Massive Legend. Now, besides the plans I have for you, what plans do you have for the rest of the year? Like goals?
Well, booked out my ass. But the one that's coming up, that's going to be probably the most grudgy match that I got is September 24th. This coming Saturday, I'm going to be in Salina, Kansas for XWE. And I'm going to be beating the fucking brakes off of Bruisador Violencia and Angel of Paz. And I'm talking, I don't need no entrance. I don't need no entrance gear. I'm not going to put on face paint. I am just beating ass, taking names, and slapping masks off fools.
There you go.
Sorry, they pissed me the fuck off. They're the reason I lost my belt.
So they caused, I forgot about that. Yes, they caused that title to drop. I saw a little bit of that live. I saw a little bit of that live on Facebook. Yes, I was there for it. Well, you said you had a surprise for us all, and I thought you were pregnant. I was like, oh, so the experiment.
Oh no, I'm just beating the brakes off of fools.
I'm excited to hear about that. I mean, like I said, I think something happens with climate change and passing state lines and stuff because Bruisador is usually a very nice and generous person when he's in my promotion, but then you get him in different area codes and he becomes a completely different person. It's science. So there you have it. And now you have to teach this gentleman a lesson through violence, through fists and kicks. And
only way I know how to do it.
And it's an amazing way. I mean, we tell such a story through violence and whatnot. And Is there anything else? Because you got to get some sleep, brother.
I guess the only thing. I guess the only thing is thank you for having me on. I appreciate everybody that has been commenting and having a good time with us. And I need to just vent something. People keep saying that I'm living on the surface. The massive legend moved to Agartha. I live at the center of the earth now. Stop saying I live on the surface. I come out here to like work a day job and to like enjoy my wife and my kids.
We don't want you. Okay, you're not supposed to be letting people know about your lair. So don't be letting that out.
It's not my lair.
Well, if you're
the center of the earth is where my hunting grounds are.
Yeah, but
you go to the center of the earth. It's all dinosaurs and Nazis. I swear to God.
I thought they were still on the moon.
No, Agartha. That's why they went to the South Pole.
Oh.
Yep.
So I'm doing that now. Update my maps. Okay. So, anything else you would like to plug, if you will? Anything you would like to bump and give a rub to?
If you're gonna be checking out anybody, ZPW, XWE out of Kansas, PCW and UCW out of Kansas. Check out AWR out of Indianapolis. Make sure to slang your way onto any streaming service you possibly can and watch wrestling. The independent circuit needs people watching because people like me are trying to bust our asses to entertain everybody at home. So please,
also,
take a little bit out of your time, enjoy some pro wrestling. Go to an indie show.
This was an excellent interview. It was wonderful to talk to you. We'll definitely have you on again.
Thank you.
I mean, you like horror films. We'll catch you on our episode live. We'll watch some horror films together.
Hey, I'm down for it.
Well, once again, Justin Gray, thank you. Thank you very much for being a part of this. I hope you have a wonderful slumber and do some of your surface stuff before going back underground.
Got you covered. Thank you so much again, Tim. It's much appreciated.
Who? Thank who? Thank who? Who's Tim?
Vinny Rattlocke. I'm thanking Vinny Rattlocke. Chill out.
Sober up. All right. Oh, very well. I don't know who the hell that Tim guy is. But anyway,